Finding a backup quarterback isn't just a detail in the Dolphins' offseason plan. It's a problem that needs a real solution. When Tua Tagovailoa is healthy, the offense flows. The game plan makes sense. The team wins. But the moment he's out, everything changes. And that's not an exaggeration, that's reality. Last season was proof enough. Without a legitimate, dependable backup, things get shaky fast. That's why Miami can't afford to overlook this. It's not just about having a warm body on the bench. It's about having someone who can step in without everything collapsing. And now, thanks to a decision in Las Vegas, there's one more name on the market. The Raiders have officially moved on from Gardner Minshew. That doesn't shock anyone. His time in Vegas wasn't good. 9 starts, 7 losses, a career-worst passer rating of 81.0. If the Raiders were looking for a guy to hold things together after the Jimmy Garoppolo disaster, Minshew wasn't it. He played his way onto the bench, losing his job to Aiden O'Connell. From that moment, this release was inevitable. Money played a role too. Minshew was set to make $11.8 million in 2025, with $3.2 million guaranteed. That's a hefty price for a quarterback who didn't deliver. So the Raiders cut their losses. But here's where things get interesting. Minshew has had success in this league. Not long ago, he was one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Take his 2021 season in Philadelphia, for example. He only played 4 games, but in those limited appearances, he looked sharp. 2 starts, a 104.8 passer rating, 4 touchdowns to just 1 interception, and a completion percentage of 68.3%. If that's the version of Minshew that still exists, then suddenly, he's worth considering. So now the question is, does Miami see value in him? Or is there a better option? This year's quarterback market isn't exactly overflowing with great choices. The top available guy is Sam Darnold, who had a resurgence with the Vikings. But he's expected to land somewhere as a potential starter, meaning the Dolphins likely won't be in the mix. That pushes them down to the next tier, quarterbacks with starting experience who won't break the bank. There are options, but none of them scream perfect fit. Marcus Mariota is out there. So is Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, Cooper Rush, Carson Wentz. And each of them comes with a reason for hesitation. Mariota has bounced around, never quite sticking anywhere. Mac Jones went from being a promising young quarterback to completely falling apart in New England. Garoppolo can't stay healthy. Rush has been solid in a limited role, but has never had to carry a team. Wentz, at this point, is the definition of inconsistent. Andy Dalton would have been a smart option, but he's off the board. He chose to stay in Carolina as Bryce Young's backup, which makes sense for him, but takes another name out of the mix for Miami. That leaves Tyler Huntley, a name Dolphins fans are already familiar with. He was the one filling in for Tua last season. 6 games without Tagovailoa, 5 of them started by Huntley. The results? 3 wins, 3 losses, and an offense that never really found its rhythm. Huntley's strength has always been his ability to move. He can extend plays. He can take off and gain yards with his legs. That much was clear. But when it came to throwing the ball, it was a different story. Accuracy, decision-making, consistency, it wasn't there. And that's the problem. A quarterback who can run is great, but if he can't consistently deliver from the pocket, the offense struggles. The Dolphins haven't ruled out bringing Huntley back. Late last season, he mentioned that the team had been in contact with his agent about a possible return. But even if they do re-sign him, that doesn't necessarily mean they're done looking. Because here's the truth. Backup quarterback is one of those positions that doesn't seem important until suddenly it is. And then, it's the only thing that matters. Miami has seen this firsthand. When the starter goes down, everything rides on the next guy up. If he's not ready, if he can't execute, the season can fall apart. That's why they can't afford to make the wrong choice. They don't need a superstar. They don't need someone who's going to take over the starting job. They just need a quarterback who, if called upon, won't crumble. Someone who can step in, run the offense, and keep the team in games. But where do they find that guy? Aaron Rodgers is available, but let's be real. Miami isn't making that move. He's not coming in to be a backup. And they're not going after a boom or bust project, like Trey Lance or Zach Wilson. That's not the kind of gamble they need to take. They need stability. Reliability. A quarterback who doesn't need to be spectacular, but can be solid. And those guys are harder to find than you'd think. This decision won't make headlines. It won't generate massive hype, but it might end up being one of the most important choices Miami makes this offseason. They've been down this road before. They've seen what happens when the backup quarterback situation isn't handled correctly. Now, they have another chance to get it right. Will they?